Hey, welcome back to the Big Ranch Show. Thank you for joining me. Now, today we're going to talk about a little bit of Project 2025. I'm going to leave some of the deeper stuff for later in August, September, but we're going to discuss parts of that as we go towards the election. But today we're going to talk about Project 2025 and the effects it's going to have on PBS, especially PBS kids. Now, if you've grown up like I did, you may have grown up with PBS and other public broadcasting, networks that were publicly funded. And they're all part of the same, PBS, organization. They brought you things like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, Sesame Street, Daniel Tiger, and a bunch of other really interesting kid shows. Over the years, they've gone through a lot of transitions, trying to stay relevant and stuff like that. They've had a hard time. And they need funds to be able to compete with the likes of Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, and all the other cable networks out there that make billions of dollars and are able to provide more entertainment. But the thing is, they require public funds to maintain their ability to function. And Project 2025 would just destroy that funding. It would defund PBS to the point that they would probably have to shut down. And why? Why would that happen? Why would any group want to destroy a network that has done nothing but try to educate children on how to be kind to others, kind to themselves, and to love themselves? Who would want to do that? Of course, the extreme ultra-conservative right in this country would want to do that. Because for some reason, they have this weird belief that if a boy happens to learn how to be caring to others, they're going to turn out either a lesser of a man or gay or trans or something like that. I hate to tell them, that's not how it works. That's just not how it works. There's no book or no watching something on TV that's going to make somebody decide they're gay. That's not how it works. It is literally something internal it's just how you were born. But that's what they believe. They believe somehow if you learn to be caring, you learn to share and be kind to others, and you learn that it's okay to be you, that somehow you're going to turn out weak or gay or something, right? And I don't understand it. I remember being an 8 or 9-year-old kid and turning on Mr. Rogers, and I was very confused. I was having feelings for people I was told I wasn't supposed to have feelings for. They weren't deep feelings, but I just knew when I was 8 or 9 years old that, hey, this girl looks cute. This boy looks cute, right? And I knew those things. I didn't know why. I had no clue why. I didn't know what that entailed. I was just being told that wasn't normal by people around me, right? Without me even having to say it, you would turn on the news and you would see people talking about the F word this, those F words this, right? I didn't know what the heck it was all about. But I turned on Mr. Rogers one day, as I did as a kid. I'd turn on PBS, Mr. Rogers would be on, and one day he talked about it's okay to be you. That brought me comfort at a time when I didn't know what the hell was going on in my brain. At a time that I had no clue why I was having the feelings I was having. But it brought me comfort. And I'm sure words like that have brought others comfort too. I grew up on Sesame Street, Mr. Rogers. That's where I came across the first cooking shows I watched and the first time I was ever introduced to art. That was the first time that I came across a Bob Ross painting episode. That was my first time to ever have interest in the arts at all. It's when I was a kid. And I came across PBS, and there was a guy painting with this big poofy hair. PBS taught me a lot of stuff as a kid. And I'm sure it taught you some of the same things if you grew up around it. I grew up in a time where we had 4 channels if you didn't have cable. Right? Not everybody had cable in the 80s. We had cable for a while, we got rid of it, and we're back to having 4 channels. But one of those 4 or so channels was PBS. Where I grew up, it was Channel 13. KERA, I believe it was, or something like that, out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And every year they would have their little telethons for raising money for the local chapters. And I'd watch them. And I'd watch the entertainment they provided. They're also where I came across for the first time of British comedies, which I found to be weird on public TV. Those were absolutely hilarious. But what I don't understand, and I don't think I'll ever understand, is why they want to get rid of something that's actually been helpful to so many millions of Americans. Caring about others does not make you weak. Loving others does not make you weak. Sharing what you have to make sure other people eat is not weakness. That's love. And I don't understand that. The concept of let's defund PBS. PBS has done nothing. There's no liberal propaganda. Teaching people to be caring and kind, that is not liberal propaganda. That is literally what I was taught in kindergarten by people that were far from liberals in 1980s Maypearl, Texas. Look it up. It's probably got 500 people in it now. Who knows? The population may be a little higher now. But that's where I grew up. Maypearl, Texas. The middle of nowhere, central Texas, it seemed like, but it was just south of Dallas-Fort Worth area. I believe it was south of Waxahachie. That's at least how I pronounced it. I don't know how you actually pronounce the town. I don't know if anybody that lives there does. But we lived just outside of there, and between Waxahachie and Maypearl was a little place called Scarborough Fair. I don't remember ever going to that, but it was just literally 5 miles down the road. But that's what I learned growing up. I learned from several people that were not conservatives that you were supposed to love other people and take care of other people and love other people. I opened that black book that the ultra-conservatives in this country want to browbeat people with. And in that, it also taught me to be kind and love others. Interesting, isn't it? How the person that these ultra-conservatives swear they follow, Jesus Christ, taught the same things that PBS teaches kids today. So if you're one of those people that have kids that watch PBS, or if you grew up watching PBS and you think it's a great thing for children to have and to have access to and to keep on the airwaves, then I suggest not voting for Republicans in November. Because Project 2025 does a lot of other things that are far more sinister than even defunding public television. And like I mentioned, we'll get into that later on as we get into August and September and October. As we get closer to the election, I will be discussing more things out of Project 2025. My goal is to find a way to get the PDF right here beside me on the screen so you can read it at the same time, and then you can decide whether or not it says what I feel that it says. Because I want to be completely transparent with what's in Project 2025. I want to be very clear and very concise about what's in it, and I want you to see it. But do be warned that you may have hard times at times finding the exact page numbers that things are on because they keep changing the page numbers. I've also discovered that they are softening language on a number of the sections because I got hit on Facebook the other day with a fact check on something I had already read in Project 2025 from their very own PDF that I downloaded, what was it, 6 months ago? Almost a year ago, maybe even? And it's since been softened to say slightly different things. Because they don't want us to catch on to what they're doing. They didn't expect us at all, I guess, to find it. Even though they've made it very clear what they're doing. So like I said, if you support Big Bird, Elmo, Daniel Tiger, learning about the arts and the lovely programs that PBS puts on in the evenings, especially around Christmas time. They have a lot of Christmas themed, musicals and Broadway stuff and symphony stuff that gets aired on a lot of their networks across the country. And at no point have I ever really seen liberal propaganda in anything PBS does. Because like I said, being kind and caring is not a liberal conspiracy. It was completely taught by Jesus Christ. And if you believe in Jesus and God, shouldn't you be living by his words? Should teaching kids learning that through watching cartoons be a problem? No, it shouldn't be. But unfortunately, you've got some people in this country, and I do believe they're mostly the minority of this country, that believe that America doesn't need to be free for everyone. And I'm not going to understand that. I don't want anybody to be forced to live a life they didn't choose to live. Anyhow, this has been the Big Ranch Show. Hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you down the road.